Let's face it, there's a lot happening in the labor market right now. Some headlines warn of layoffs and hiring freezes, while others gush over the red-hot demand for skilled talent. No matter what's going on in the economy, leaders and CEOs are worried about the future of their companies. They want to hire the best candidates possible, top talent that they can train and retain. Now in this video, I'm sharing 5 hot job search strategies you need to be taking right now if you want to be one step ahead of your competition and land your dream job offer. And hey, before we get started, if you've not yet grabbed your copy of the Career Advancement Toolkit, be sure to snag it today. It's an exclusive career resource specifically designed to help you land more interviews and better job offers. We're talking resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, and job interview follow-up templates, along with video lessons, instructions, guides, and checklists to help you put your best foot forward and secure your next position with confidence and ease. I'll place a special limited time link for you down below. Hey, I'm Heather, a career strategy expert helping you land your next big career opportunity so you can grow in a field you love. Now, if you have not yet done so, make sure you tap that subscribe button down below and remember to also tap the bell notification so you're notified when I host a live training or publish a new video every week here on my channel. It's no doubt there's a lot of commotion in the labor market right now, from layoffs and decreases in job openings to hiring freezes and rescinded job offers, not to mention leaders and CEOs that are worried about what's to come. Now, despite the headlines and the uncertainty, the labor market is still hot. There are still 2 jobs for every 1 job seeker, and although wages are climbing at a slower pace, they are still climbing. Companies are still desperate for talent, and we are still seeing candidates receive several job offers at one time. Now, how long will this last? We don't know. But what I do know is if you take these 5 steps, you'll get hired despite job cuts and recession risks. Now, let's jump into it. The very first thing that you need to do as you're going into today's job market is you need to organize your job search, okay? So what I mean by that is you need to create a list of companies, and I'm not just saying a list, a targeted list of companies and positions that you are applying for, okay? Now, I don't want you to just go scour the internet for random open positions because this is going to be a waste of your time, your energy. It's going to increase your frustration. It's going to decrease your confidence, okay? So you need to be keeping track of the positions you're applying for. So what I mean by that is your companies, your job titles, who's the point of contact in the company that you've been working with, what skills, and I don't mean just skills, but the top skills that they're looking for in their ideal candidate. Who do you know that might be on the inside of the company that could potentially send you a referral? If you've followed up after interviews or after you've sent a job application, also important notes about the company. Maybe you've researched something that you would like to ask in the interview, or maybe you've learned something that you want to ask in the interview, okay? So you need an organized job search. So here's what we did. Inside of the toolkit, we actually added a brand new resource called the Job Search Tracker. So I put out an email a couple weeks back to all of our toolkit purchasers, which is thousands of people. And I said, hey, what thing inside the toolkit, or what do you wish was inside there that's not in there right now? And a lot of people said, hey, Heather, I just need to keep track of my job search. Like, I need to know what to keep track of, what to do, when to do it, all that good stuff. So we just created a brand new job search tracker inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit where you can keep track of all that amazing information. The tracker comes in a Google Sheet plus a PDF document, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to actually use it and conduct a thorough, productive, positive job search, okay? I'll share with you guys more in just a second where you can grab the toolkit, but just so you know, that's one of the steps that you need to be aware of. And I'm going to move into step number 2, which is to create an incredible career portfolio. Okay, so if you've ever been to any of my live streams, I actually break your career portfolio up into 3 main sections, okay? The very first one is going to come in the form of your resume, okay? So this is where you need to hook them with the top half. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. You need to tailor your resume with keywords or keyword phrases, and you need to include results-driven achievement statements, okay? Now, here's the cool thing. We also just added into the toolkit, well, we've always had our master resume template that I want everyone to use, but if you're in a certain situation where you're a career changer, you have an employment gap, or maybe you have no work experience, we have added templates in for those scenarios as well. So again, you need to start with your resume. The second part to this is your cover letter, okay? So when we talk about your cover letter, you guys have heard me say this before if you've listened to my channel, I like to look at your cover letter as a mini sales presentation, okay? So I keep it simple, a 4-paragraph structure where you have a strong introduction, you're explaining how you're the solution to the problem, you're talking a little bit about your career story, this is where you're making it interesting, and then you have some sort of really good call to action. Now again, inside the Career Advancement Toolkit, we have a master cover letter template, but we've also added a variety of samples because that was one thing that we heard from our toolkit users. Hey, I really need more cover letter information. So we've added we've actually added brand new video lessons just for the cover letter to help you guide your way through creating your mini sales presentation. Now, the third part to your career portfolio is your LinkedIn profile. Okay, now I'm going to pop into the chat really quickly a link to one of the videos that we did recently where you can actually go step by step through what you need to optimize in your profile. So I actually share 7 areas that you need to have optimized in your career portfolio. I'm not going to go into, in your LinkedIn profile. I'm not going to go into every section today because we could be on today's live stream for hours just talking about LinkedIn, but there are 7 areas that you need to have optimized. And I like to look at this as your entire career portfolio. Now, keep in mind, inside the toolkit, we also have what we call our LinkedIn Profile Essential Starter Pack, where we walk you through your headline and your about section because those are the very, very, very most important parts, okay? Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would love to know how would you rate your career portfolio? So I'm talking about all 3 of these items here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your career portfolio? So you've got your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. Now you might have an amazing resume, but maybe your LinkedIn profile is a little bit lacking, okay? And you know what? Let me take this off really quick so you guys can see at the top there. Sometimes I forget that my face covers some of the slides there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile? Let's move into step number 3 really quickly here. So step number 3 in being successful with this job market is network like you've never networked before, okay? So we know that a majority of job openings or jobs that are filled are found through networking and referrals, not online postings. So I like to use online postings for research only. If you've ever been to my channel, you know that that's what I mention, is it's research purposes only. The vast majority of really good solid job offers come from people that have networked or have some sort of referral. So I want you to think of networking in 2 different categories. I want you to think of it as your current connections and developing and nurturing those current connections, okay, furthering that relationship. And then I also want you to think about it as new connections. So who can you connect with right now that you don't know? This could be someone that has the same job title as you, someone that has a job title that you want or that works in the industry you want. This could be a thought leader. This could be a CEO. This could be a manager. This could be anyone, okay? So I want you to think of your connections or your networking in 2 categories, your current and then new, okay? And again, we always look at networking as relationship building. So it's not just a one conversation and then you're done. This is, we're gonna have a conversation to start with and then we're gonna keep going from there, okay? Now, here's the other cool thing. I have another screenshot to share with you guys. We did just add into the toolkit brand new networking templates, okay? So that was one of the things that we heard from a lot of our toolkit users. And even though this is not hard to do, it's just when do you send the message? What do you say in the message? How do you talk about yourself without sounding cheesy, right? Or desperate? So we put together, and these are just a few of the templates that we put together inside of the toolkit to help streamline the entire process for you. So when it comes to networking, you always want to start with your connection request, okay? That's in there, your connection request template. We also have a template in there for following up after the request has been accepted, okay? We have a template in there for reaching out to a recruiter. So what do you say to a recruiter for the first time when you found a job, maybe you've applied, you're waiting back to hear, all that good stuff, that's in there. We also have, which is one of my favorites, is requesting an introduction. So if you know someone that knows someone that works for a company, we have a template to help you just you copy and paste, you're going to fill in your information, and then you send it off. Okay. And by the way, you can send the same template. Of course, you're going to change their name, right? Over and over and over. We also have a template in there to ask someone for a recommendation. So let's say you're like, hey, I want to request a recommendation on LinkedIn, and I want more recommendations on my profile, which I always recommend that you do. How do you ask that person? And then the other template that we've added in there is a recommendation for someone else. So now you can write a recommendation for someone else. And we have an exact template in there to help you do that. Okay, fourth step really quickly. And then I have a bonus step with you. Fourth step is do things others aren't willing to do. What I mean by this is I want you to go the extra mile in your job search and your interview process. Okay. So what I mean by this is when you're in the interview, I want you to think of new ideas of how you can implement solutions. Okay. So I like to call this a solutions-based interview. So rather than just going in and saying, hey, the interviewer asks you, tell me about yourself, or why do you want to work here? Or what are your strengths? Or tell me about a time that you did X, Y, and Z. You're going to go in and answer those questions. However, I want you to look at your answers more in terms of a solution-based approach. So what I mean by this, because not a lot of interviewers will do this, a lot of interviewees will do this, is when they ask you a question, I want you to pinpoint one of the challenges you know that they're having and recommend a solution for that, okay? So whatever that challenge might be, you're going to go in and you're going to present, and I'm not saying you're going to present a big, huge, massive thing. I'm just saying, hey, I noticed that one of your biggest challenges is XYZ. One of the solutions that I think would be amazing for this would be XYZ, and you give them that solution, okay? Now, the other thing I want you to think about here, because so many times we see job seekers that forget to follow up. They apply for a position, and that's why that job search tracker is so important. They apply for a position, a couple weeks go by, they don't hear anything, and then they just simply forget about the position. And then by the time they get around to following up, a month has gone by and the company's moved on and yada, yada, yada. It's so funny how many times I hear from job seekers that simple follow-up is what made the biggest difference. So I want you to make sure you're following up the entire process. So whether that's from the time you've submitted your application to the time after you've had an interview, a first interview, a second interview, whatever that is, okay? And here's the thing. We also added brand new templates inside of the toolkit to help you do just this. So we call these our interview follow-up templates. So again, this is where you follow up if you haven't heard back. You follow up on your first and second and third interviews. You follow up after a phone or a video interview. You follow up 1 week or if you've received a rejection notice, okay? We also have recently added inside the toolkit accepting your job offer. So let's say you get the job offer. We have instructions and templates on how to accept that offer, okay? We also have templates and instructions on how to decline the job offer. So our goal for you is that you're getting multiple job offers, and you're going to send one that you've accepted the job offer, and then you're going to send a second one to the other company that you've declined the job offer, okay? So we have streamlined everything for you guys because we know how time-consuming job searching can take. And let me tell you, this will probably cut down on your job search time in half. It will cut it in half, maybe even more than that, okay? So again, all that's inside of the template, inside of the toolkit, but it's so important for you to follow up. So really quickly, let me talk about addressing rescinded job offers. So as I mentioned earlier, we are seeing an increase in this just a tiny bit. We don't know how long this will go on. It could be something that it's a quick blip and we never see it like it is right now, or it could be that it keeps continuing, okay? Depending on where everything is in the economy, okay? This pretty much is affecting some of this, but I did want to address this because I know some of you have had this question recently. These are pretty unusual. So this is not something that commonly happens. There's a reason for rescinded job offers. It could be like you didn't pass the drug test, maybe, which hopefully that's not the case. Maybe you didn't pass the background test, or maybe you didn't accept the offer in time. What we're seeing most often right now is we're just seeing changes in economic conditions, okay? So companies are facing budget cuts in some cases. Now, if this happens to you, and I don't have a separate slide for this, so you'll need to write this down. If this happens to you, just first of all, find out why the offer was rescinded. Now, potentially they will tell you in their initial conversation with you. If they don't, ask them why, just so that you can understand, was it something that you did? Is there something that you need to change when you get back out in the job market and you've, all that good stuff. So find out first why the rescinded job offer came in. The other thing you want to keep in mind is ask them if there are other opportunities within the organization. So remember what I mentioned earlier. Even though we are seeing hiring freezes and layoffs and rescinded job offers, they're in a very specific sector of the company. It's not necessarily overall the entire organization. So if you have a skill set that could potentially get transferred into another position, keep that opportunity open by asking them if they do have other opportunities for you. Now, and some companies will just try and place you in other positions. Now, the number one mistake you need to avoid is getting upset or angry about it. Okay, don't take it personal. I want you to keep it positive feelings. Okay, positive vibes, and know that sometimes this is going to happen. It's very rare that it will happen, but just kind of keep it on your radar. So, do you have a dream job company you'd like to work for? Share it in the comments below, and don't forget to grab your copy of the Career Advancement Toolkit for some stellar video lessons, templates, guides, and instructions to help you land your next job a lot faster. I'll place a special limited time link for you in the description below. And hey, if your resume is missing the mark, click or tap the video right here where you'll learn a simple method for writing an incredible resume that gets noticed. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.